doing? Um, Hopefully you have had a good and restful weekend and a good Monday and are actually succeeding well at the week. I am running on tea in my nice medieval time style. You know what the problem is? Like, not only I've tried to like go get the Stein from the what's the castle casino in Vegas, Excalibur, and they don't sell Steins anymore there. So last time I was there in Vegas, I picked up a Stein from the Hofbrauhaus for tea. Yeah, that is our fuel for the day. For those who aren't familiar, um, I'm Gabriel Bassett. I am a data scientist. And what we're going to do today is we're going to turn news articles about breaches into structured data. And the benefit for doing that is that you can then go and analyze that data and figure out what's happening around the world, or if you're doing this within your own organization, you can take incident response reports that come in from various incidents and breaches, turn them into structured data, and see where and what in your organization is getting hit and where the actors are attacking and where you could potentially improve your defenses. So with that, we'll get things started. The place we collect these issues, these breaches, is in a various community database. This is public. Anyone can use it. It is a collection biased towards public breaches because we only encode public things in it. We collect any breaches they're aware of as issues, and then we randomly assign them to people to code. And so I'm sure, some assignees, and we'll see what we have. Taco Bell card skimming. We have 2 skimmers, then probably an error. No, it's not marked as an error. And then another error, a couple other training link credit card details. Yeah, so nothing particularly fancy, though. The W2 one is kind of maybe interesting. That's from 2016, which makes a lot of sense. We saw a lot of W2 breaches back in a couple years ago, and they looked promising. They looked like something that was going to become kind of a major avenue for attackers. But for some reason, we didn't see them this year. And so we're curious to see if they show up again next year. But we'll start at the top. We'll see what happens here. This is not what I expected to see when I pulled up the site. It's a very pretty picture, granted, but that is not helpful information. Okay, so we may have to search to find this one. I don't think this news site exists anymore. So Taco Bell, card skimming in Nipomo. Let's San Luis Obispo. Here we are. So claims that it claims as if like somehow this didn't happen. A Taco Bell employee in Nipomo has been stealing credit card numbers. No. Taco Bell corporate offices filed a report with the sheriffs probably after they got. Yeah, I know. It's like, the credit card company told us someone was stealing, so we went and checked the tape, and it's this dude. And it's like, but we haven't convicted him, so we're going to say supposedly. You don't see this that often, though. You don't see kind of people skimming credit cards as much anymore because there's so much video surveillance for registers and such, and single point of compromise detection just nails these things pretty quickly. Skimmers are used frequently, credit card, ATMs. Oh, that was a lot of useful information. Well, okay, this is February 2019. This should hopefully go pretty quickly. Confirmed, GitHub number. This provides us our reverse traceability if we ever need to find it again. I'm not going to include that original reference. In fact, I'm going to note that. And we'll use this new one, summary, employee skimming credit cards. because no one's ever thought of that before. And median is not a lot of detail. So incident, say 2019, probably February. We don't really have a lot of information about how long it was happening, or how long it took to discover. We know it's not going to be seconds or minutes. Granted, compromise happens in seconds, and exfiltration probably in hours because they have to leave the facility. But we don't really know how long it took them to discover it and to fire the person and send them to jail. Victim, Taco Bell franchise. It came from the corporate office, so we'll just count Taco Bell. Overall, want to take guesses about how many employees Taco Bell has? Let's search. Pull up their Wikipedia article, and maybe it says 7,000 locations. Well, of employees. It turns out Google sometimes can pull this up as a stat. But extends education to all 210,000 employees. Well, that's a lot. Over 100,000. And so, let's see. What's our industry for Taco Bell? It's going to be food services. Do the lazy thing. Limited service 722-513. Let's go look it over here just to make sure that we like that. 722. Oh, don't tell me this is one of the new ones. So technically these are like the 2013 NICS codes, and there are technically now new NICS codes. 722-513. That's not in here. Well, we'll use the new one. Well, no, I don't want to use the new one because then I have to go and limited service restaurant 722-211. Grill buffet, snack and non-beverage. I'll call it beverage. This should be fine. And that's not what I selected. Give this a shot. Come on. There we go. One, United States and US California. And that's should be down the state. This is North America. And secondary victims, nope. This will be pretty easy from an action. Well, yeah. Misuse. This is going to be possession abuse because they're abusing the physical asset. This happened at the physical access within the corporate facility. The actor is an internal and is a cashier. Financially motivated. Don't know anything about jobs. Attribute, asset. We don't know the total number, but they were, let's see. It's actual payment cards. Media payment card, there we are. And then, man, I haven't coded one of those in forever. Actual payment card being breached. I know the others get them a lot, and we're going to do another one when we do the ATM. Well, but when we do the ATM, we really won't, because the asset will be the ATM itself. So here, country, this person was in the United States, or the asset was in the United States. Cloud, not applicable. And we're looking to refine the cloud definitions. We're probably, a lot of these are more actions like, hypervisor breakout attack. And so a lot of these will go to the hacking area, and what'll be left will be like cloud, not cloud, unknown, other, NA, those kinds of things. So, but that is not really, the NA right now doesn't really mean what we want it to mean. So we won't code it. We'll go down to attribute. This would be confidentiality. Was data disclosed? Yes. We don't know the amount, but we know it was payment data of customers. And it was stored unencrypted because credit cards are weird. Data abuse? We're going to assume so because they were probably caught by using the cards. So targeted. This is opportunistic. They were there. It wouldn't have mattered if they were at another Taco Bell. Discovery method very much seems external. No, they notified law enforcement, but the credit card fraud detection is where we want. Because what probably happened is fraud detection detected it, told the corporate office, which is why the corporate office is who called the police. Then they called the police and handled it. Value chain development. This person, not really development. Maybe other, because they needed a credit card skimmer. Targeting, they didn't need. They just were where they were. Distribution, cash out. Cash out, very likely through purchase. Not hijacked rewards, variety of cash out. Sell stolen goods. Probably just, what's the closest? Probably just bought goods. Well, what we need is fraudulent purchases. Put other. Money laundering. They probably were not smart enough to do that. Impact. Significant. The company reported and they arrested the guy. This is a random assignment. The attack chain was misuse by an internal actor using a media asset and compromising confidentiality. And with that, we have knocked out the first one, hopefully. And like we always do, I'm going to copy this into a text document just to save it on the off chance that the browser crashes and clears local storage or something silly like that. Okay, so that's one down. We are at 9:14. We are actually on schedule. That won't last, but hopefully, I would love to knock out 4.5 hours or at an hour today. I've got some other things I gotta go do. Oh, I want to do the ATM skimmer first though. Okay, so what's this one? Yoink. Oh, it's a video. I am not watching a video, and I'm not watching the ad associated with the video. Grand Place. I updated my CISSP recently, and responded to their redoing the CISSP, and so they're looking for input on the body of the body of knowledge. Yeah, I mean I've had like my CISSP number is like is 5 digits. Like I've had it because I was in the government when they originally made it a requirement, and everyone had to go out and kind of get it, and I was in the second wave of that. And so I did like the class, took the test, was really nervous. Wasn't nervous as the other dude. The other dude was like the really, really smart guy, and he knew that if he didn't pass, like no one would let it go for forever. And so he was really nervous. But he finished in like an hour. I finished, an hour later or something, and of course passed and did fine. I've had it ever since. So I don't mind having it, but also, I'm not in the government anymore. It isn't as big an issue. Okay, Grand Police. Let's see if we can find something other than a video to code this on. Cache points on South Main and Graham. Okay. Skimmer. This is probably the same thing. Man warns of possible skimmers at Graham and Burlington ATMs. And by the way, you guys don't have to listen to these ads when they start playing, right? Because they play through my headphones, but I assume that you guys don't actually hear that, which is lucky for you. I'm taking the bullet on that one. Man warns of possible skimmers. Good. At Graham and Burlington ATMs. Greg Coley's warning is going viral on Facebook. McCann is warning you to avoid blah blah blah. Says post he knows of 2 people who had $500 drawn from their accounts after using the ATMs. This does not feel like, do the police actually confirm it? Police believe. You know, this doesn't feel. I don't have a lot of confidence in this. This is kind of anecdotal. They didn't catch it. So reports of folks believe the cars are scammed. The victim says the crime happened over the weekend. Use the area. ATMs, it doesn't change. Charge a fee. Say folks disabled the machine yesterday and didn't see anything to indicate there was a skimmer there. Say that doesn't mean it happened or won't happen again. Okay, so this is not enough information. Doodle story. Police didn't find the skimmer at the ATM. Posing for lack of information. Okay. Let's see. There's a good one for this, but I don't remember what it is. It's like false positives or needs detail maybe. I'll mark it needs detail and invalid. Invalid. Closing comment. We'll get that one out of the way. Okay, that's a shame. I was hoping to do an ATM one. I haven't done an ATM one in a while. What do we have here? Hack at U.S. website Pop Sugar leaks 124,000 accounts. So how do they define hack? This publishes pop culture website, among other ventures, was hit by a data leak in February with an unknown attack. Hacking into its systems, personal data from was accessed by an unknown third party. Usernames, addresses, yada yada yada. The hack occurred February and was discovered in April, but the leak was only reported to users this week. But it's got good detail on the dates. That's good. And what was lost. It doesn't have any real good action data, but the rest of it's kind of there. Couldn't find my email. Couldn't find my email earlier. Didn't blah blah blah. People being snarky. Inform the relevant authorities. That's probably why. I wonder if the statement has anything useful in it. We discovered that an unauthorized gained access. We're really sorry about it. Take the security information seriously. It's required that you say that. Like, when you go and look at the breach notification laws, it's required that you take security seriously and then you put in something that means it isn't as bad as it could have been. See, hashed passwords, right? It could have been worse. They could have had normal passwords. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. It's required. You should remain vigilant. This isn't our fault. Don't contact us. Contact the FCC. You can get credit reports, but we're not going to pay for them. Oh, no, they will give you a free credit report. No, you're entitled to one free credit report. We'd like to let you know what you get for free. Because it sounds like we're giving you things, but we're not. Okay, this is confirmed, though not particularly impressive. Open I note went away from my GitHub. Yeah, open this in another window. Okie dokie. So we'll use both these references. Yeah. What really is a breach? We'd like to tell you about all the good things we did this week. Actually, I'm surprised they don't do that. Like, we had a breach. You know, it's like a paragraph of it, but then like the rest is, we would like to tell you we added these features. Nicki Minaj did something interesting. You know, all the extra stuff. Known actions lead to breach. User details at tech company. Okay, confidence. Again, median because we don't know a lot about, but we've got timeline information. Yeah. Let's see. Year. This happened in 2018. Because of that, it really should go in on the 2019 corpus. We discovered that in February, so it happened in February. We don't know anything about compromise, how long it took, or how long exfiltration took because they don't talk about the actions involved. Discovery took, say, 3 months, maybe? Months, 3. Containment. You know, we don't know, but I get the feeling it took a while, but without details, I don't want to put in there because I don't know if it's like took weeks or months, because days or weeks or months, because April, and then they don't disclose it till June, which means it took them 3 months and they had to be doing something during that time. Hopefully those weren't all billable hours by the lawyer. So we'll mark this as unknown. Oh, and then notification. Notification happened in 2018, June 14th. So action. We don't know. We know that exfiltration and infiltration happened. No details were disclosed of how the breach occurred. Actor, certainly external, but we don't know. You know, the only reason you steal 120,000 pieces of user data from a random website is for financial. And frankly, if you're just stealing that, my guess is there weren't many actions. This is probably like someone got phished and it dumped the password, or the password was sitting on the internet or something, or the database was sitting on the internet, because that's not a big haul for an attacker to spend a whole bunch of time working on. Country. Oh, we skipped over victim. We'll come back to it. We don't know anything about the country for the attacker. So mark it unknown. Come back to the victim. The victim is Pop Sugar Incorporated. They are located, they had an address, I thought, San Francisco. So, United States, North America, and California. Locations affected, well, seems like one. And then the question is, okay, so what did they do? They publish news? What did it say? It said something about who they were. Lifestyle and entertainment company. That doesn't help. It's a UK website, even though it's run from San Francisco. I'm not sure I want to consent to any of these cookies. Wait. Okay, how do I opt out of everything? There we go. Okay. How do I have to apply that and close it? Okay. Thank you, GDPR. See, this is the kind of stuff that's going to change my ad profile, even with those those cookies turned off. So this looks like UK style news. Probably under information. Internet publishing, broadcasting, and web search portals. That sounds accurate. Let's see. What? So we did action, so we don't know it. Get rid of victim. Actor we did. Asset. So another one we don't really know. We know the database was involved, I think. I mean, where else do you store 123,000 people? But I'd like to find out that their architecture, their infrastructure, like doesn't store that in a database. It stores it like in a flat file somewhere. It's just like stored on people's desktops, stored in an email. Okay. Yeah, binders. We've determined the incident involved the following. Okay. Third-party access, account credential, and unauthorized gain access to account credentials. We regret the security. Okay. We'll assume database, given what they stole. We know nothing about it. So we'll just skip down to actually users, data total. This we do know. 123,857. That was the one thing that we're going to disclose. Credentials, basically usernames, addresses, that kind of thing. Of customers effectively stored. Data abuse. It's unknown. I would expect that it would end up in credential stuffing attacks. That's where that kind of thing would normally show up. So targeted. It's unknown. It's unlikely, but it's unknown. Attacker. We do know the attacker is external. Again, this is the kind of thing that's detection. We don't know anything about detection, do we? We discovered. That's not helpful. So here, I'm just gonna mark this as unknown. It doesn't seem like they really know anything about discovery. Value chain, because we don't know what actions were taken. We don't know anything really there. Yeah, see, that's what we should add to Varus is, you know, did the company that was breached take security seriously, very seriously, very, very seriously, lightly, or unknown? And then what makes the breach not quite as bad? You know, the passwords were hashed. We detected it quickly. We don't know that the data was abused. Like, those would be fun things to add to Varus. And there would be fun things that we could code. Actually, that would make for a really interesting, like, that would make for an amusing section of the DBIR, like what organizations say about their breaches. But probably not appropriate for the report. Insignificant, they disclosed it and did nothing else. This was a random assignment. Actions. I'm going to leave this blank because we really don't know anything about the event chain. So we don't know anything about the actions. And we should be able to validate it. Oh, we missed victim employee. Okay. I missed some victim stuff. I thought I put it in the industry. Oh, I put it... Where did I put the industry? Because I picked it out. Oh, I put it in the notes. I was way off. Yeah. We code it with a store with Indy5. They never say, they never say what encryption or what hashing or whatever, because the only reason they put it in there is to make you feel like it's not like they could have done worse. Like, this isn't the absolute worst case for a breach. It adds absolutely nothing. And I was hoping that, like, I could do these. I'd be able to use LinkedIn anonymously, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we'll just have to use it logged in. And so what's the name of this company again? Popsicle, Pop Sci, Pop Sugar, Popular Sugar? I don't know. That's a lot of employees for a little internet company. 588 employees. Maybe they're all on LinkedIn because they're all looking for jobs. Let's see. We're unlikely to find the exact number. Careers. So like careers for people that used to work at PopSci. PopSci Incorporated, number of employees. No, it's still just, so we'll just code somewhere between 500 and 1,000. Or 100 and 1,000, excuse me. Okay, now we can save it, copy it out, and go on to the next one. 2 down, though we did close one. Close this one, and let's see what's next in the docket. UK pub chain left 17,000 customer details exposed online. Yeah, that should be an easy one. Okay. I can't imagine that. Hopefully there is enough detail in this one to code. It would be kind of disturbing if there wasn't. We'll save that till we know what it is. Okay, personal details of thousands of beer drinkers in the UK. They're left exposed thanks to a Wi-Fi provider leaking. Oh, good. They use cutesy language to describe it. That's helpful. Small chain of pubs with 23 locations. Patrons attempting to access free Wi-Fi were asked to hand over their names, email, date of birth. I mean, I get why, but this phone numbers and other personal details. An independent stumbled upon a spreadsheet containing an open directory hosted by blah blah by the Wi-Fi provider. So technically, this isn't the brew house. I guess they were ultimately the victim, but it was the Wi-Fi provider that caused it. Okay. So yet again, it's security researchers stumbling on stuff. This is 2019 because November of 2018 goes in. November of 2018 goes in the 2020 report, not the 2019 report. So this is fine. Confirmed. We got a couple references. I'll copy those over. Summary. Spreadsheet of customer details left online. Confidence. I mean, we don't have a ton of details. We don't have timeline data. Oh, maybe the link goes to where he disclosed it? Nope. I guess it goes to his Twitter account, so we can search that. Search for this, his handle, and what's the name of this place again? Brew House. Oh, come on. He's got to have tweeted about it some way. So data breaches is something of a hobby. Finding the open directory was pretty easy as the server was indexed on Shodan. It's a spreadsheet, not a database, according to the other article. But this one's a little more detailed. This one is actually talking to him. Okay, 5-day, contact him on November 9th. So we've got some details. 5 days later, the directory was removed from open access. This is like a file share on just a local server, maybe assigned to the company. It doesn't look like a cloud storage. Okay. So timeline. This happened in 2018 November, and we'll assume that he contacted him the day he found it. Compromise. Once you find it, it's found. Exfiltration. No, probably took him a minute to download the file. Discovery was 5 days later. Or no, it was probably, we'll say hours. He probably told him that day. They contained it 5 days later. And notification didn't really happen because he talked about it. Okay, and so this is brew house and kitchen. Brew house. I don't know whether to spell that or not. 23 locations across the UK, so it's not a small place. This is not going to help. Like, the chance that this turns up a great search result is probably pretty low. We'll go try it on LinkedIn. Per house and kitchen, I think 200 to 500 employees. That works for me. I am willing to say 100 to 1,000. And again, it's a restaurant, which we were looking at earlier. A combination of food services. It seems like a full service restaurant. How many locations affected? It sounded like all of them, and it gave the list of 23 locations in the United Kingdom, which is actually Great Britain. Great Britain falls into Western Europe. And then we really don't have a state because it crosses state lines. And no secondary victims. We're going to skip that. Let's see, action. It's going to be air. So normally we would code these as publishing error, because like private info published to a public site. The difference is that it sounds like what happened was it wasn't the public site, right? It was just a server that was sitting on the internet. And so it sounds like they had a public server or public share, not really on a public site. So I'm going to mark this as misconfiguration. We don't know why, but this is going to get assigned to the sysadmin as the actor. Internal, system admin, motive. There's no motive because it was an error. We don't know anything about them. Close that down. The asset was a file server of some type. Cloud. In this case, where is cloud? It is known. This doesn't sound like a cloud asset very much. We know that there's one asset. We don't know the operating system, short of going in and looking at it on Shodan, which it probably is not there anymore. Attribute, confidentiality, data disclosure, yes. 17,000 records. We're gonna say personal information. It isn't clear what else would be in there. Customer information was stored unencrypted, and data abuse was no. We should look at data abuse this year. I bet that's a good field to look at least in public data sets. Targeted, this was very opportunistic. Discovery method, unrelated third party. Value chain doesn't really apply because it was an error. Impact, again, insignificant. They published in, they took the server offline and had some bad press. Random. The actions were an error by an internal actor leading to a server compromising confidentiality. And just like that. And we'll validate it and save it and copy it off. It's 3 down. We're actually ahead of schedule today. File goes in here. Let's see. Then finally, make sure I close this. Like, you guys got to remind me when I leave one open to close it. I have a bad habit of leaving them open. So close that one. And we'll come down here to some credit card info at risk or W2. I like W2. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. And this one has happened. This was a lot earlier one, so it's probably going to be a 2017 report, just going off of the basics here. So let's see what we have here. Accept, you agree to this. Privacy pie, change your preferences, click here. Man, they made that small. Nope. Nope. It's nope out of everything. Enable all purposes. Nice. Disable, disable, disable. Let's see, did it actually do anything here? This is happy for me. There we go. Okie dokie. So, credit bureau firm Equifax has apparently suffered a significant data breach where tax and salary data from 431,000 U.S. workers being stolen from its systems. I know, you're as surprised as I am. The report of the leak came via independent security researcher. Krebs claims to have seen a letter from the American grocery firm Kroger to its employees stating unauthorized third party had accessed Equifax W2 system, that its individual managers, blah, blah, blah. Is the other article the Krebs article? Yeah. So any date. So dated May 5th. Out of the Northwestern incident. Should be a different one. Smuts, Stanford University. Alerted 600 current and former users. What was the assignment list for this? I was assigned, and then Suzanne unassigned it, and then the script reassigned it to me. Okay. Acquire. Let me see if I'm gonna check. Suzanne may want to do this one herself. I don't know if she's gonna be up right now, but we'll give her a try. I'll probably skip this one and do the other one instead. Because she the unassignments, it makes me think that maybe she was hoping to do that one herself. And I have another one in my list here, so I might as well do it. And it's been assigned to some different folks who never got around to it. These are folks that had helped us before. And so we'll go take a look at it. And this again is a May 2016 one, which would fall into the 2017 DBIR. And what is it? Some credit card info at risk after website security breach. The NSW opposition has called on the state's transport minister to reveal how many customers have been affected by a security breach at TrainLink's online booking systems. Okay. TrainLink provides stuff. Privacy commissioner said it was unclear what had been breached. The data contains limited credit card information. See, limited. Like, we have to be clear that it could have been worse. It could have been unlimited credit card information, whatever that means. Separate from the system used to process financial transactions, which was not impacted. See, it could have been worse. Praised the department for informing her on Friday afternoon, but said it was important. Like, Like, it's good that they contacted me, but should explain how this happened. Transport, train link. Should we send this? Provides like no details. There's no timeline. There's no who did it. Be on the lookout for so-called phishing attacks where scammers very basic information that hasn't been conveyed to the community. Okay, maybe there's more information, but we may have to close this one for lack of information as well. Apparently 2018 as well. See if this is any better. This one's a little farther on time, so system statement for the state government revealed it shut down the system while it investigates, operates, trains. Maybe this is like, okay, so no credit card or personal data was stolen. This is in June, so the next month. Last week they revealed it had been, but 1 week later. Time the department by some credit card personal. Now, however, the agency says in its investigation to the matter has found no evidence to suggest customer data was compromised. It said it has warned initially a potential breach to ensure customers and is pleased to report successful in preventing attempts to at unauthorized access to the reservation database. So there is, this is probably a non-incident. What is it? Duplicate error, Hall of Fame. Lacks detail, but is likely not an incident. Just because it sounds like this could have easily been someone was accessing this database repeatedly and maybe trying to brute force in. So they said something, then they went and looked, and they found out that it really wasn't what they thought it was. So let's put in here this additional detail. Let's see. There's no detail confirming that attackers gained access. So we're going to close that with comment. It's really a non-issue. We'll close this. We'll come back over here, and I've got 10 minutes later. Should I do one more or from someone else's queue? Because my queue is pretty much cleaned up. But let's see. Yeah, I'll pick someone else's. So we'll see. Alex has been a busy man. We will grab one of his. And why don't we do the XKCD form one? We'll see what details there are on this. 560 popular site. Having warned that its users were in the public domain. Been taken offline. They were using a PHP BB bulletin board. Yeah, I'm sure the forum's offline until we can figure out what happened. Link didn't come from the main site, but the forum. We don't know yet. Recent version. Okay, so let's see if there's any additional information. Because it feels like this is the kind of thing where, you know, they probably will talk about how it happened when they know. I'm going to breach. Let's see. PHP bulletin board has had issues in the past. Okay. User table. You know, I'm gonna skip this one because there really isn't, unless anyone else knows, like if they confirmed how exactly it happened. I want to do a priority one. I just want to do a simple one. But Alex has a lot of priority in his queue. Not a healthcare priority for some reason. I wonder. Oh, I know what it is. So, the report or the script assigns. I'll bet what the script does is it's assigning priority, but it's Alex may be the first one in alphabetical order in the list, and so he's getting the first assignments, and the first assignments tend to be priorities probably. And so he's getting all the priority ones. I may have to go and make the script a little more random in its assignment. Okay, ICO confirms data breach at British Bank. Didn't we do this one? NatWest customers. Search VCDB for this, because I swear I already did this one. Yep. We'll double check the GitHub number on it. 13934. So I probably just didn't close it because I'm bad about that. Let's see, 13934. Yep, close that. Okay. Back to the issue list. Friend illegally accessed an alleged smear campaign. Yeah, that sounds interesting. We'll give this one a shot. Okay. So a former VA employee just pled guilty for computer fraud in an alleged scheme to access medical records of veterans running for Congress in an alleged smear campaign. Wow. That's that's rough. One of the victims in question, a retired Army major, served 3 tours in Iraq. At the time, the computer fraud, OJEDA. Ujda? Hey, maybe? Richard Ujda? Ojeda? I'm sorry. My ability to pronounce even the most basic words is pretty minimal. Was running for Congress when serving as a state lawmaker. A former VA employee illegally accessed the veterans' records, took photos of them, and shared them with a third party during the campaign. Former VA employee Scott Miller pled guilty to 6 counts of computer fraud for unauthorized access. Allegedly took legal photos of his records days after he was selected as the Democratic representative in the 2018 primary campaign. That probably puts it into the 2019 report. So, say 2019. Investigation. Now, incident confirmed. GitHub number. There we go. Reference. The problem is I don't like that this doesn't have a lot of details on the timeline. Kind of makes it a little worse. For employee, oh, well, this isn't much more helpful. We sentenced December 9th. He's going to be charged $100,000. Oh, but we do have maybe some date between January 2018, as well as the records of former data between January 2018 and 2018. Okay, so we do have a little timeline information. Confidence. This is probably pretty straightforward. 2018, January. And it took them at least 5 months to discover it. And we really don't know a bunch about containment. Compromise took minutes because he had to pull up the record and take a photo of it. Exfiltration probably took days because he had to took hours because he had to send it to the campaign. Opposition. Let's see. Not real notification. The victim is actually the VA in this case. So, let's see. How many employees do you think that the Veterans Administration has? It's got to play 377,000. So that's a lot. then industry, can be government. Let's see. Come on. Actually, I want to know the next code here. Let's see, 923140. 923140. Administrative. Well, yep, that would be it. Leave it to the government to write a very clear NICS code for their own organization. United States. Does it say where he was located? I mean, West Virginia. So, West Virginia is WV. Yeah. US, WV. Here are the secondary victims. Action, misuse. Privilege abuse. Abuse is access to the systems. He used the network to access him. And this is for exfiltration, infiltration. Really for exfiltration, he didn't have to infiltrate. Okay. The actor is internal. And ideology. Well, yeah, I think this is ideology. Espionage would be the other category that might fit, but I don't think that when people think espionage, they think this. I think this is more what they would think of as ideology. End user, there's nothing really special about it. Asset was, so the server was the asset compromised. Some kind of server, we really don't know what kind. It's whatever stored the records. Let's see. Country, United States. And then actor. Or did I get to put the country in for the actor? Oh no, because it was internal. And then attribute, confidentiality, data disclosure. Now, was it more than one, or was it just the one guy? To legally access the medical of 5 coworkers. So 5, and this is medical information of patients, and it was stored. Data was abused. Credit monitoring really doesn't apply here. Targeted, this was very targeted. Discovery method, I don't think they say how it was discovered. Probably because they tracked back, you know, from the disclosure. But and go. No, I'm going to take this back. Well, but so he disclosed it. The actor disclosed it, but they disclosed it to the competitor, right? They didn't disclose it to the victim or disclose it publicly. Only 2 photos. Scheme. Okay. Share them with a third party during the campaign. We could guess, but I really don't feel comfortable saying whether they discovered this internally or externally. Well, no, it was discovered externally. Like, there's no reason to believe that they discovered this internally. Let's see. Remove that. Then value chain. I don't think really applies here. Impact. Painful. It kind of had some impact on the person's, on the victim's campaign, I presume. Event misuse by an internal actor on a server led to a breach of confidentiality. It's just as easy as that. Oh, and this was a priority, wasn't it? This was not the PHI DVR. This was not a random assignment. This is healthcare information. And we'll mark it validated and save it out. Okay. Copy it over here. Save it. and we'll close it. So thank you everyone for coming and watching us code a couple incidents, close a couple that really didn't apply, and overall look at some really weird things that people do. I'll be back again at the same time on Thursday. We'll go through a couple more incidents. I'm going to be out of the office on Friday, so can't do an analysis stream, unfortunately. I'll be at the InfoSec conference hosted by Middle Tennessee ISSA here in Nashville, Tennessee. If you want to find me there, ping me on Twitter. I'd be happy to meet with whoever. I've got a talk at, I think, 1 p.m. where I'm going to go over the DBIR. Otherwise, I'm happy to chat. Hopefully see y'all later. Thanks. Bye.